You built the business. Now, build the man. This is the Ben Price experience.
Shari, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Ben.
Thank you for being here.
I'm thrilled.
Who are you and
Mm.
why are you here?
How long do we have? Here, or here?
However you want to answer it.
Who am I? Depends on the minute. Why am I here? Because I'm meant to be. Let's not get too esoteric from the beginning. In a 3D world, I am Shari Teigman. I am how do I describe myself? Depends on the day. I am a transformational coach and a creative business strategist, and I help people pull their head out of their ass and become more maverick in their life and business. And why am I here? I think I am here. I don't really like the word disrupt. I'm here to shake things up. I'm a bit of a human cat in the hat, turn things over, write them right side up for each person to help them find their individuality, and I think just passion for play and life and expansion and possibility.
Lovely.
I mean,
What does it mean to be a maverick?
so for me, Maverick is really finding the beat of your own drum. So people always say, oh, Shari, you're so rebellious. I mean, I'm rebellious by nature, but it's not about that. I don't think people have to walk around life rebelling against everything they see, because I think our world is in enough turmoil already. We don't need to add to that. But when we find out our own unorthodox way of being, what our unique cocktail is, what makes us tick, what makes us joyful, what makes us fearful, and really stay in our own space and our own energy, the rest of the world understands us better. We do a lot less proving. We do a lot less fitting in and marching with sheep and feeling like we're in the wrong place or taking on beliefs and ideologies and attitudes and behaviors that don't bring us to the best place we're meant to be. So for me, the Maverick is really just finding your individual blueprint and then using that in the world. Sometimes we walk alone, sometimes we walk with other people. It's a much softer inflow way of rebelling against what we think we're supposed to do. It just feels purposeful.
Becoming aligned with who you truly are.
Amen. With some sizzle, yes.
With some sizzle. Yes. So I was just telling you, as before we hit record, that I was talking to some guys about running another men's retreat. And all of the time, every time I've run one of these camps, it's all about that. It's just dropping the masks, figuring out who you really are. And we were talking about how, if it's going to be a 3-day, we're looking at doing a 3-day thing, what would the final day look like?
Right.
And, what's the process? How would we structure it? And I said, do you know, it'd be really cool is at the end of it, is everyone stands up and tells us who they are.
I love it. I love it. At my workshops, I work through people. We work through creating your own Maverick manifesto, and everyone stands up and reads it out loud about what they want for who they are, what they want for the world, what they believe everyone should. It's not, for me, it's much bigger than us, because when we know ourselves, we bring more value to the world, because again, if we're not trying to fit in, we each bring our own awesome stuff. So when people stand up, I had one last week in London, and it's just, the room feels like it's going to shake, and you see this person get bigger and bigger and take up more space. And I'm like, more of that. Like, it's so heavy to wear things that are not ours or not say out loud what we want for the world. And I think the combination of both knowing who we are and knowing who we want to be, where we want to get to, whether it's big and global and you want to have an impact, or you just want to feel better in your day-to-day life. I'm a ripple effect person. Like, put a room of all of us in the room, it's going to be a lot nicer room to be in than while everyone else is checking whose mask they can sit next to and what if I. And like you said, when it takes time to slow down and get in quiet, whether it's in nature or in your own mind, to actually even ask, am I wearing a mask? I don't think people have any idea that they are. They spend their whole lives, no idea.
Yeah. I was certainly had no idea. Didn't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you describe what is a mask? Somebody who has no idea what that is.
So for me, I'm a feeling person. So I think people who don't know they're wearing a mask don't know what to look for, because they don't have another experience. But that feeling of when you don't feel like you're fitting your own skin, or when you're completely depleted by your work, your relationships, the way you show up in the world, the kind of conversations you have, it's that soul tired and you don't know what it is. And you think it's your diet, you think it's the wrong partner, you think I need a new job. And this itchiness to just climb out of yourself, to me, is like the first signal, like, we got to go inside out. It's not outside in. I mean, outside environments we know obviously affect us deeply, but if I'm constantly checking what everyone else is, I think of it as like fun houses in a amusement park. Like I'm checking everyone else's mirror. I'm never going to see myself. I'm always going to be exhausted. I'm not here to put that on my tombstone. She was always exhausted. That's all. So I think that's the first clue is when you constantly feel like you don't fit or you don't belong in your skin or in your environments
Mm.
is a really good time to start asking some inner questions that then will reflect the outside differently.
Yeah, so you want to escape yourself. You want to escape who you really are.
Yeah. And listen, we live in a
And
world filled with distraction and addictions.
yeah,
We can call them good addictions, we can call them bad addictions. All addictions start from wanting to self-soothe. So our
mm,
motivation, our professionalism, how much money we're making, in addition to the bad ones, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all that stuff, it's all the same thing. It's us avoiding who we are inside. You don't need all of that when you have resources from the inside. I'm not saying they're not fun, but you won't use them in the same way. So, you know, I'd say look at you and I. If someone looked from the outside, is our life that different than before we really knew ourselves? In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. I have the same family members. I love the same kind of music. I eat the same kind of food. Everything just feels entirely different. And I
mm,
also know quicker when I get off track. Like, I don't want people to sit here and listen to us waxing on poetically thinking, oh, once you do it, it's like a one and done. I wish it was. It's a daily grind. It's annoying to be aware all the time. It's frustrating to not just walk around half asleep. They look really fine.
mm, mm, mm.
I do
Yeah,
a lot more thinking than most people.
yes, yeah. I think that's a really interesting point because some people think they're overthinkers,
Yes.
and actually, I think they're just deeply thinking and they're conscious and
Yes.
they're asking the right questions and they're frustrated that they're not getting any kind of answer.
And it's hard to
Is that right?
unsee it. There's not a light switch.
Yes.
I had an enlightened
Yeah,
weekend
yeah,
and then I
yeah,
go back to who I
yeah.
am. That's adorable, but that's not how it
No,
works.
it doesn't happen. Yeah, I always describe it as like when you walk down the alleyway and you see you see like you think it's a person, but it's actually just a tree.
Yeah.
And
The
then
story that you tell. Yeah.
yeah, and you see the person. You're, oh, it's a person, and oh, it's just a tree.
Yeah.
And then the next time you walk down the alleyway, you might get startled, but you're not. You realize quicker, and then the next time you walk down, it's like, oh yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's just that thing that looks like a
Yes.
tree. Looks
Yeah.
like a person, but it's actually a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't unsee it.
No.
Mm. Yeah. Do you have any kind of thoughts around? So in the UK, we're experiencing the highest levels of suicide.
Yes.
I think for the last 20, 30 years, something like that. Do you have any thoughts around that, particularly around men? I know you coach a lot of men, coach a lot of entrepreneurial men. So yeah, what are your thoughts around that? What do you want
I have millions of thoughts about it. You sure you want to open this one?
as it relates to the masks, and do
Yeah.
you think that's very much?
As an American who works mainly with Brits for the past 12 years, culturally here, I'm in the UK at the moment, culturally here, it is so much harder to even recognize a mask, let alone take it off, because masculinity in the UK is seen as just get on with it. You know, we're emboldened. And as an American whose Holocaust survivor grandparents came over to America, America has more availability, where here it is much more post-war still, which is crazy because it's so many years after, but is still has that flavor because a lot of it happens here. You know, you can feel it in the air, even in the food that people eat. Many of the men now who are committing suicide come from fathers and grandfathers who didn't speak about their emotions, who didn't leave space for not fitting in, not feeling like you could just push through, what achievement looked like, success looked like. There's also the whole piece of like, what tallest poppy syndrome here is, you know, you can't stand out. You can't speak about who you want to be. You've got to fit in. The hardest time I have with my entrepreneurial successful clients is around Christmas time because they have to fit into a box going home for Christmas, where what car they're driving, how many hours they work, what holidays they've taken. They can't bring it with a sense of pride. They may be the first man in their family who went to uni or has had any success, or Who do you think you are that you don't just go down to the pub and drink your troubles away like everyone else does? And it's a really interesting split because even my successful clients have the friends they'll talk about real stuff with, and then the old mates or the family members that they go, same joke, same take the piss, same political conversation, same mocking the weather, all the small talk you and I adore. I don't think British men have the space to find out what vulnerability feels like without being mortified by it. I mean, then they're incredible men like you bringing that to the forefront where it's not only masculine, it's the only way to your masculinity. It's the rest of it's a farce. And it's heartbreaking because we're missing opportunities to get to these men, both you and I, and it scares the crap out of me.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots to say there, isn't there?
Yeah. What's you? This is you're interviewing me, but I'm going to ask your opinion. Because you've been so many youths and you have, formal military background, and then all of this self-awareness and consciousness piece, you bring this back to either the military guys or overly busy men who are known for their achievements and absolutely numb inside in their 40s, 50s, 60s. How do we solve this? Like, what's the starting point if they're terrified to even sit down and have a conversation with me and you? Like, they will avoid us like the plague.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Good question, because it's kind of what I was thinking as you were talking. So, because I was thinking, actually, do you know what? The more that I am unapologetically me,
Yes.
and the more that, when someone asks me, what do you do? And I say, do you want to know what I do? Or do you want to know who I am? And I tell them who I am. I've had like one person who was American, by the way, kind of blow me off a bit.
Yeah.
And that was really my fault because it was early and I didn't get my lines out confidently.
Yeah, you didn't prime this well enough yet.
I didn't have it embodied enough. But that hasn't happened recently because I've been more embodied, and by embodied, it just means it's just become more true for me, I guess. And so ever since that's happened, it opens more people up. And a good example is one of my clients who we were not planning to work together, and we were just catching up, I think, and having a conversation. And then I told him about my declarations, which is kind of like your Maverick code by the sounds of it. And he like the next week, he when we spoke again, he was like, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Couldn't stop thinking
that's
about
a beautiful way to say it. It's just the pathway that people would not know is available, and you kind of open the window. Let me clarify something about the American thing, because it's the same attitude in America, suicide, masks, all of that, just louder and busier. So Brits will avoid the conversation where Americans will make it as though they don't have the problem. So we have the same thing. It's just America has so many more words around it. Like everyone and their mother and their dog is on some sort of antidepressant, or they're happily overachieving outside and numb on the inside. So Brits are more reserved about it. Americans are louder about it. The emptiness is the same. So it doesn't surprise me that an American would avoid you, because it's like, whoa, that is a lot of presence and a lot of deep stuff. I'm lucky to be in a room with you a lot, and you just hold a space no one else does. There's like a force field coming from the side, which I love, but I have no idea. For the same people who love it, half the room will stay on the other side of the room away from you. I mean, you're very kind and loving, but if someone is terrified of themselves, they will stay away from you, because that question that you'll ask them, or that one way you'll describe yourself, is so shocking to their overly spinny own way of being, is something that they can't stomach. Again, I have the same thing for too many words and too many hand movements. You're the calm version, I'm the hyper version, but it's embodiment. We hold that presence, and it's like, I don't know how to be around that because I can't mirror that. I can't take the piss. I can't mock. I don't know how to play the game. I can't put my teeth in this. This is a zone I don't know how to go to, which I think you and I, not in a disruptive way, but it is naturally disruptive, because like, oh, I can't use my usual lines or my usual jokes with this person. I can't give them my 10-word positioning statement of who I am in the world. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to actually answer you, or I'm going to have to think about what I say to you. And I mean, what I'm hoping is we just get to have more of those conversations. I mean, I'd love to go knock on every door, but someone's not ready, we can't drag them. But I think
Mm.
even in the UK, the ability to see this stuff more online, you see celebrities starting to speak about it. You've got people opening up, whether there's a big sober movement in the country, which is quite needed here. Culturally, don't even get me started on that one. Culturally speaking, even on the news, which you and I don't watch, but like online, on social media, people being more vulnerable. You've got famous musicians and rock stars and actors talking about their feelings. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
if I'm allowed, then that it doesn't make me not cool. They are opening a conversation that really needs to move a little faster here.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. There was a documentary. Well, it isn't a documentary. It was a Netflix series. Adolescence. Did you watch that?
No, it looked terrifying. I'm too
Yeah.
empathic to watch this stuff. I would never sleep.
Yeah, you would
I
not
heard,
do well watching that.
I heard it was
But the father, so he doesn't touch his son the whole way through. And the son's getting like, he's being accused of a murder, which turns out he did actually do. Um, and anyway, he's come out a bit recently, and he's doing a bit of a campaign, which I think's awesome because
it is
he's
awesome. And that actor, I'm a Snatch Guy Ritchie lover, and he's always like, you know, he's always like that East London tough guy, like your quintessential British guy who has no emotions, drinks at the pub with his friends. To hear him, even in the role we see him play all the time, to come and speak about real things, I'm like, yes, more of that, please. Can we have more campaigns like that? Even the filming of it, I heard, was unscripted and incredible, and I think it really shocked the nation. That kid, it was his first time acting, and they just took it in one take, I believe.
Yeah, it was one take.
Yeah.
The whole way through the thing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of circling back to how do we encourage more people, I always think, I don't know where I heard this or whatever, but your healing or my healing is everyone else's healing.
Yes.
Because the more that I am embodied in who I am, it just sort of has that impact around other people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, because I think a lot of people think that doing this work or investing in a coach or, doing personal development, whatever, is selfish in some way.
Yes.
And I get that. But also then actually, if you really want to have the impact on your family,
sure.
If you really want to have the impact on your friends and your business and those people around you, I think the best way is actually just to do it to yourself.
I think it's obviously you and I sing from the same hymn sheet on this one, but what we're doing in my mind is psychologically modeling. So if I take the time to self-reflect, if I take the time to find out who I'm being, who I want to be, what I'm putting out in the world, what I'm responsible for, then I automatically would hope to expect the same from others. Not an expectation space, but I'm taking up this space and I'm giving you a space to come to me in that same way. Think about what kind of parents we get to be. You've got a little one. Mine are big. I wish I did a lot of this work earlier because I would have had more to give to young men now. Like, had I known all of this, I wish I could have. Everything happens for a reason. But think of who you'll be to William, knowing yourself better. And you're not what the old generation was. Go back to like Mary Poppins. Like, the dad was a rich banker and half ignored his kids, and the standard like working dad or busy mom. Like, what do they have to take away? Trauma and being ignored? No thanks. So when we face ourselves, the ripple effect, to get really woo here, it also clears timelines of family stuff. Like, I come from a traumatized Jewish background. Like, to me, being empowered and speaking up for who I am, what I believe in, and bringing change to the world heals a generation that were killed for the same thing or didn't have the space or the voice for it. So if anything, I think it's the least selfish thing you could do. It's the most responsible thing we can do. And while some of the self-reflection may feel selfish, it helps us understand why we see the world, why we react that way, how we treat people. There's a funny meme on Instagram. When you know enough psychology, you actually can't be angry at anyone because you know why they do everything. I could still get angry at people, but get over it faster. But it just makes the world a better place to be in when I'm not waiting for someone to make something okay for me, or them right and me wrong, or vice versa. how could that not work in our businesses, in our relationships, in our lives, in our parenting, in our just how we treat nature, how we treat the world? I think a lot of people are afraid of doing the work. So hiding behind it's selfish, or I get clients all the time sent to me by other clients and saying, she's your secret weapon. Don't ask any questions. I'm like, oh my God. It's like a secret door knock is, well, I find this stuff woolly and fluffy, but I heard I need you. Within 20 minutes, they're hysterically crying. And not because I did anything yet. I just gave them a space to say what is real for them. And that is a scary threshold to cross. So if we call it selfish, it's easier not to cross it.
Yeah. It's easier to make a thing out of it.
Of course.
I mean, I was like that.
Do that.
To be fair, I was like that.
So was I.
Yeah, I was like,
Nowhere near this.
mindset's weird. What do you need that for? Yeah, the idea of sort of sitting and reading a book was just bizarre. Like, why would you do that? So
what convinced you to do it? I got dragged by my nose into this work. I did not choose it passively.
Well, we'll come to that in a minute. Do you know what? I read a book not for the reason of personal development. I read it because I was in Afghanistan and I wanted to invest in property.
Wow.
And the book was called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, which I think you know. Which
I love, and I feel like you and I are the only people in the world who know.
I know.
And it's unbelievable.
It's a great book. And I don't know if I told you this, but I actually reread it recently.
Did you? I'm going to reread
it. It's really like quite modern. I don't know how old it is, but it just feels great. Yeah. So yeah, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, and it was an American guy who told me to read it. So full circle. Here we go.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, just read that. That'll really help you if you're investing in property. I don't think it, it did help me a little bit with property, but to be honest, it was like, I was smoking at the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly fit. Like I was okay. I was like
in the army in Afghanistan, you weren't fit. Look at the state of the world, buddy.
Yeah, but
relatively, yes.
For the standard, yeah, I was scraping the barrel.
Yeah.
In terms of fitness for the army, and I think one of the things that really got me was like one cigarette doesn't bother you. Like one cigarette does not make any real impact on your life, one way or the other. Neither does another one. Neither does 10. Neither does one packet.
Right.
But now you've had a packet a day for 10 years, and then suddenly you've got cancer.
Yeah, tipping point. No, where that came from.
Yeah, suddenly you've got depression. Suddenly you've got bad knees. Suddenly you've got all these things going wrong, and it's not sudden. It's just because it's the compound effect. And the reason he told me to read it was because to understand it in money. So you understand it in the money sense, and you can literally sit there with a calculator and do the math. Did you notice how I said math there?
I did, and I'm very much appreciative. I was waiting for maths, all of the maths. Thank you.
Do the math, and then you can think, well, what about cigarettes?
Yes.
What about getting your first pull-up?
Exactly.
Right? So that's how I used it. I was like, right,
wow.
I need to do this to get a pull-up. And so every time I walk past, I'd do 10 jumping pull-ups because I couldn't do a pull-up, so I just had to jump. And then it would be, and then I think like I kept doing that. And then one day I could do 3 pull-ups. Not one, I could do 3. And then I got the muscle up one, the one where you go all the way up. And that was from The Slight Edge, Jeff Olson. And then like all the other books then came off the back of that because it recommends so many other books. And and that was kind of that's how I got into it. I was like, wow, I can do it.
And I know this is a me interview, but I can't help myself. So you were in the army without those internal skills, but you were in a highly accomplished unit and you were in scary places and you were around quote unquote bad people doing terrifying things. And how did your mind work before all of this if you were already there?
I was in the intelligence corps.
Even more so, like you are watching how the world works, and you had to keep yourself sane at some point. If you didn't have this awareness, where did it go? It was just you were a very good soldier, kind of like do what it's supposed to do? No, you weren't.
I was always a terrible soldier.
Of course you were.
No, yeah, I passed over for promotion.
I mean, I wanted to join the Israeli army. I laugh. I would. I don't like your rules. I'll do this, but maybe not that one. So they pick and choose.
I think they sent me to work with the special forces because they're a bit more Maverick and they're a bit more like, and they're, and they were like, this guy does not want to shave. He does not want to.
He's not wearing.
He does not want to iron his clothes or shine his boots. I think we better just send him off to work with the special forces guys because they don't do it anyway. Because it's bullshit. Because it is bullshit. It's total bullshit. Like, why can I not put my fucking hands in my pocket?
Yes. Also, now that you told me that I can't, that's the only thing I want.
Now I want to do it. So yeah, I think kind of goes back to what we were talking about. I always felt a bit out of alignment because I never had that conversation about who I was. It was just like, you're in the army now. Well, you're in the army, and this is how you act. And this is what you do, and don't say yes to this, and don't say no to that, and don't do drugs, and smoke cigarettes. That's fine. Drink loads of alcohol. That's fine.
Past your time.
Numbing behaviors.
Yes.
I think the military is designed to numb you because killing people is not a normal.
But also just the whole environment, even besides the killing people, just what you're around, and in our world, we won't get started on this one, but we get fed a lot of stuff that is true, isn't true, make us scared of this and then make us scared of that. Like, you have to numb people in order for them
you don't
to
want free thinking. Imagine you had a whole bunch of free thinking soldiers.
I got the army. Let's go. Let's make what should our uniforms look like? Anything you want to wear. Feathers.
Whatever. Yeah. Anything's fine.
Wow. So interesting, because you were already, if someone looked from the outside, they would have thought you were high achieving, able to break yourself, able to achieve other things that people could never do. And at the time, you still didn't even think like this yet. Like, you are so much more who you are now, free, than you were indoctrinated.
I've never identified as a soldier, really. Not really. Like, I like the idea of being a warrior.
Yeah, I hear that.
Which then, as I've recently read King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, like, that really resonates because a warrior is not a tyrant or was it the sadist masochist?
Yes.
I can never remember which way around it is, but is it the sadist who harms himself?
Yes. Masochist.
Masochist is.
And I think sadist is, and masochist is
others. Whichever way.
Yeah.
The one of harming myself.
Yes.
Was my shadow, because actually I would never harm anybody else, but I would definitely work late.
Right.
That's basically harming yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
also the whole warrior thing is self-mastery. So it's the control of knowing who you need to be in the moment rather than reacting rather than responding.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
So how did you get into all this?
Oh boy. Horrific divorce 16 years ago, and mom of 2 little boys, and I knew what I didn't want, and I had no idea what I wanted. When the adrenaline of survival ran out of going through a really tough situation, I looked in front of me and just saw black. I had no awareness of that there would be anything else, because I was very clear on who I wasn't at that point, but I didn't know who I was. So I fell down the rabbit hole of personal development merely so that I didn't have to listen to the sound of my own voice, just books and podcasts, just put something else in there, TV on, music on, anything. And actually, an old friend of mine from high school, I didn't even know her well. We knew her peripherally. I now know she was holding a summit. She was a personal organizer, but like Marie Kondo, like finding joy in your things and all that. I just pressed play on whatever she put on Facebook just so I couldn't sit in here. There was no chance.
Oh, so you were actually trying to numb.
Oh, yeah.
And then
the more noise, the better. And it was noisy enough. And tequila, dancing on tables helped for a bit. It was fun, and I wouldn't change any of it for a minute. It was an interesting time of life.
You just do that without the tequila.
Exactly. Don't need the tequila. I'm myself again. And the me that you know now at 51 is the 5-year-old me. I'm exactly the same. My best friend found old footage, which has to be old because I'm old. You don't have as much video from when I was younger. And she found old, like 8mm films. And I took some of the clips of it, and there was no volume, but you could see me dancing at birthday parties, at my ballet class. In between, I'm hanging upside down on the bar. My kids, who are going to be 26 in a few days and 23, are so blown away by it. Like, Mom, it's you now. Like I have to show them to you. You'll be like, oh my God,
Wow.
I'm very little now. I'm only a little bit littler then. Exactly the same energy, exactly the same person. I just lost myself along the way.
Wow,
So
that's fascinating, isn't it?
fascinating. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sticking my tongue out at the teachers, like exactly what you would think I would be as a little girl. I just missed it in my 20s and 30s because I went into extroverted performance mode and didn't realize that I lost myself to what everyone else wanted. And I wasn't quiet, but the extrovertedness covered the lostness. So like that American Loud thing, it was totally empty from the inside and very nice and shiny from the outside. Perfect mom, PTO president, lived in my Jewish bubble. I did everything right. I loved it. It's not a rag to riches story. I loved being in it, and it wasn't mine. And I needed to exit stage left and find out who I was. And I only would have happened in a brutal, dark way. I wouldn't have walked out when nothing was wrong. So
What do you mean you loved it? What do you mean?
I was very good at the role. I didn't know I
Yeah.
was unhappy. And that's a big thing that comes up in my work is people think they have to be broken in order to fix things. And I don't believe anyone's broken. I think we have seasons. And when a season's over, we're allowed to change and find our next season. So I had no idea I was unhappy. I was watching a video of one of my son's birthday parties. And I guess my ex-husband was videoing, and I was holding my baby, and my son, the birthday boy, was there, and I was holding dishes. It was like a movie moment. I smashed the dishes on the floor because it was like complete numb. Like I'm sparkly and loud, like a drone walking. I was dead man walking. I wasn't even in there, and it scared the living hell out of me. So I said, I am a full of life person. How the hell how did I do that to myself? I'm not going to blame anyone else. I allowed everything that got me there. I have no idea how I got here because I thought I loved my roles. I adore being a mother. I still do. I adore being part of the world I came from. I love the traditions. But all of the rules and all of the have tos and all of the shrinking made me so not me that I had to throw everything out to start over. And I had no plan. I had no idea what this was going to look like. I didn't have the destination. I didn't have a Tony Robbins week ahead of me. I did this knowing none of this existed. And it's very typical me. Of course I did, because I wouldn't have listened to anyone anyway. I didn't want to march in a new queue. So that's what I find interesting about the personal development world. So they'll be drinking, oversexing, spending money and all that, and then they find green juice and yoga and CrossFit and Tony Robbins, and then they wear another role with all of that shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I get it's better choices, but still the same lost mask addiction. Like, go in the woods with Ben. Get quiet with me. Sit and feel something. Feel your pain. Feel your joy. Like, people are so terrified of what anything actually feels like. They have to pile on all of this stuff. I had to strip everything away and sit naked in the dark and find out what was in there. And it was terrifying. And it was the greatest thing I ever did. That's why I'm scared of people's darkness.
Sorry?
That's why I'm not scared of people's darkness. People are always like warning me, oh, Shari, you don't know my story.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I love you. I honor you.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me. This is the scariest place in the whole world to me. So like your stuff is not scary to me.
It's like so underwhelming. It's unbelievable.
So adorably underwhelming. I know it scares you, but like,
poor you. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I experienced that. It's interesting what you said about the masks of fitness.
Yes.
I've definitely worn that.
Oh God, I've had so many
started a gym.
well-known Fit Pro clients from the UK who it came from an eating disorder. It came from body dysmorphia. Like, great, now everyone loves you. You're no less dangerous on the inside to yourself than when you were overweight or anorexic. Like, no, it's because society's taught us that's an achievement because you can do something no one else can. Cool, but do you want to? Oh, didn't ask myself that question. It's just because I can.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. It's that. Yeah, it's really interesting. I definitely, because I got into CrossFit in Afghanistan, actually, with the Danish army. in the desert, which was quite cool.
I mean, if you're going to do it, I feel like that's the way to
And
do it.
then I trained with the Americans as well, and they were like, they just loved it. They were just so into it. You know, running around with a thing on your shoulder, and the guys
It's
were just,
why they
it was
joined the
like
army.
being in a
You
war
haven't seen
film.
our army adverts. They're all musical and like they're
Are
very
they?
exciting. Oh, yeah.
They were just like, "Rah, come on." Yeah.
Of course. Banging the chest.
Yeah. But I did get really into it. And I think it was quite useful at the start to get me fit. And then I think it became, definitely became a mask.
And what's interesting is none of the, I shouldn't say none of them. A lot of these things are not bad or good. It's just mastery versus mask is the question. It's wonderful if it works for you. When
useful or not useful.
Do you know how to change your season, change your medicine, really?
Well, I remember waking up every morning aching, like my joints ached.
But that was an achievement to you at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like, oh yeah, my body aches, that's good. Right. But then it became an ache, which was like definitely wasn't useful. It wasn't good for my body for sure. But everyone knows you in that way, don't they? So,
correct.
What does it mean to be a man?
Oh, I love this question.
What does it mean to be a man?
What kind of man?
Good question. What kinds of men are there?
God, how many hours do we have for this? My take on an evolved embodied man is full ownership of their masculinity, of their femininity, feminine side, not their femininity, I should say, their feminine and masculine, their vulnerability and their strength, their safety and silence, their trust in their voice, their ability to read a room and feel safe no matter where they are and help other people feel safe wherever they are.
I love that.
Soften and harden at the right times. Enjoy beauty. Enjoy all the things they want to rather than what they think they're allowed to. Just full expression. No apology. And it's heartbreaking because there's so few.
I love that. That's really nice.
Just made me a little emotional.
I spoke to a guy the other day who is gay and he grew up, it's not okay, right? And he said that he would always keep his hands in his pockets.
Bless him.
Because that would give him away. Not expressing himself.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. But we spoke a lot about, so I have been somebody who's been brought up to kind of, I don't know whether, I think it was my upbringing, just to avoid anything feminine.
Of course.
And suppress my feminine side.
Yes.
Which includes the beauty part that you just said.
Yeah.
And I only really realized this last year, actually. And I made a list of like activities, feelings,
beautiful
stuff that I thought was feminine. And I did a little test with my...
What an exercise. What an exercise. Wow.
I did a little test with my girlfriend and my brother and his girlfriend. And I said, right, you can just tell me what you think. Manly or masculine, feminine or neutral. And they were all neutral.
Wow. To all three of them except you.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa.
Where do you think your list came from?
It just came from me thinking about it. It was just like, I was just thinking about it. I was just like, why do I think this is a womanly thing to do?
Fascinating. It's fascinating.
I can't remember, I'd say I don't know, cutting the grass was a manly thing, right? Doing the dishes was a womanly thing.
Right.
So I would not like to do the dishes and it was just so stupid. How can doing the dishes be masculine or feminine?
Because we watched it on TV when we were little. That's
yeah. And parents, how they,
of course,
mum always did the dishes. Funny, isn't it?
I grew up with a dad who is incredible, and we joke he's like the first metrosexual guy. I think. I mean, bless him, he's 80 and he acts about 60. You would love him Goes to the gym 3 times a week, walks 4 miles a day. I can't keep up with him. When he walks, he's so fast. And my dad cares about what he wears. He was in the Navy when he was younger. Everything. They used to call him the prince when he was young. Like the underwear matches the belt and the socks and the shoes, and he is perfectly manicured all the time, but he is a protector and a provider, and he cries all the time. So I was raised by a man who embraced both, so I didn't know the difference. I had no idea. I grew up with the opposite. He would wash dishes, he would do the supermarket shopping, and he also, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She worked in his business, but he loves ironing. He's anally clean, so he's scrubbing the windows all the time. I never saw distinction, and my mom was very powerful, very feminine, but could run a small country. So I had a strong, powerful mom, and my parents were together from 12 and 15. So I think they didn't have this whole masculine, feminine thing, even though they grew up in Jewish European homes where my dad's mom used to cut my grandfather's food for him. That's how old school, like slippers waiting, old school, never took her apron off, sat on a chair with half a cheek off because just in case he needed something. And he was the youngest child and was with his mom all the time. So he didn't see his dad a lot. So he actually learned all of the feminine stuff from her. So I think it's so easy for me to see because I never was modeled anything different. So he's such a strong man to me. He's my hero. And he's got his strengths and weaknesses as a human being, but it was never a masculine, feminine thing. And he's very emotional. So sitting at a school play, you're watching an advert, dad's hysterically crying. Everyone always jokes, but no one would ever not call him masculine. So I think it is about what we're modeled and what we appreciate. Like I valued that. So I made a lot of mistakes in relationships because I thought men were just like that. And I didn't meet any until I was 48.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the thing. It's fascinating. It's like, even if you have it, if the rest of the world doesn't see it, we still don't teach anything, which is why I love you're teaching William this intentionally.
Yeah. What do you think, how do women, as a general theme, think of how men should act?
Oh, God. I would think you would say I'm a strong female character. You can say that. It's not that I don't believe in feminism. I just don't get the whole movement. I know people are probably getting pissed off about this when I say this, but I'm okay with whatever comes back. I don't get it. I have a lot of roles that I play, and I'm proud of all of them, and I have enough on my plate. I don't also need to do all the things that a man does to feel value. I also grew up, like I just explained, my parents, how they were equal partners. And what people won't realize is that in traditional Judaism, a woman's role is extremely important, where people may look at religious environments as the women are suppressed or they cover their hair or this and that. The women are their creators. We have less time-bound commandments. We have a lot more wiggle room because men by nature are more primal, which is true. So they have times of day they need to pray to keep them out of their animal mind and more in their soul mind, where women have less of that because we're built like a creator. We nurture the home. We create the environment in the home. How a woman is what the family follows, including the man. So I grew up with a very strong sense of being a woman in my femininity and in my masculinity. Like I'm comfortable in both. But I think a lot of men, I mean, testosterone's physically down in men because of all this femininity going on in them. Women are playing both roles. A lot of men now don't know who they're supposed to be. Like I have 2 young men. How the hell do you date? Like you can't go ask someone. That's harassment. No, it's talking to girls in a bar. Like that's not I'll give you like a list of harassment and a list of non-harassment. So I think the roles have changed so much. Women think they need men so much less that men don't know where they slot in. So then how open a woman is how much availability she has for a masculine man. And I didn't know this. So I had a not great marriage, we'll just say, and then had a range of relationships for 16 years being divorced that was absolute chaos. And I would say where I learned all of my power, all of my voice back. It was a total shit show and the greatest self-development I've ever been in, because you could read all the books, but until you test it out on actual human beings in real life, you have no idea what's going to trigger you exactly. And I came out of my divorce quite triggered about everything. So I was a little small, quiet animal, and I had to relearn myself. And well, I'm not going to say I used people. I learned it in relationship to other people, whether it was friends, relationships, romantic, intimate, whatever it was a very big learning. And only at 48, when I met my now partner, I didn't understand any of this. I am completely soft and feminine with him. He takes none of my power away. He adores watching me at work. He adores watching me achieve. There is no power struggle. I had no idea it existed. Ironically, even though I grew up in a family with it. So because I grew up in a family with it, I didn't know to learn the rules of what to expect or how to show up because I just thought the world worked like that. So I lost my way completely. So round, long answer, a woman can only expect something from a man if she understands who she is and where her power is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we expect the other to save us from ourselves, or you need to make me feel a certain way. You can't make me feel anything.
Unwritten.
I have to inherently feel it and then see it reflected back in you that I feel safe in your vulnerability. I feel safe in your power, and vice versa. If my power threatens you, you're not okay with your masculinity or femininity. Feminine, I shouldn't say feminine.
Do you think that's so? Do you think that's Judaism or Jewish people as a whole? Do they have, like, if you're strong in your and you understand it the way?
I'm going to make a generalization here. If you would look into the Jewish world, I actually find a lot of the men not very masculine.
Oh.
Because Jewish culture by nature is very cerebral. We do a lot of learning. We do a lot of thinking. It's not as physical. So if you look at, I don't know if you bumped into any Israeli army in Afghanistan at all.
No.
You would love Israeli men are, I would say, what the Bible meant when it was talking about a man, a man and all of his power and all of this stuff. The men that I grew up with are very cerebral, but I'm the one who had a screwdriver. I'm the one who knows how to fix things. There are very few Jewish men in modern world culture that I grew up with. I can only speak from my experience that are good with their hands or strong by nature or powerful, where the women are more overpowering because they run, if you watch any movie, when the Jewish moms are always loud and, it's stereotypical, but it's not so wrong. So I actually think the men are missing the physical warrior aspect of testing themselves and learning their strength. They use it cerebrally and to find a place in the world and to achieve rather than be sure of who they are. I think it's a developing piece that needs to be addressed. We're in Israel because of the nature of life in the desert, surrounded by countries that want you dead, all of that. And it's a civilian army. Women and men know their power because they play hard and they fight hard and they physically know who they are, both the men and women. And I think it's just by nature of what their reality looks like. You don't have a choice but to sit. Don't have time to sit in your head and think about this shit or worry about it.
If there was one thing you'd like to leave as a message to the world, what would it be? Based on everything that we've
some of these kind of questions. I started a podcast 16 years ago when it was really new and I didn't even know what they were, but I knew that there were conversations, the type of conversations that I had, other people didn't know existed. So when you get to when someone gets to listen into a conversation like you and I just had, where to us this is our kind of small talk.
Yeah, it's funny. I think, like, I'm really conscious that we're speaking about things that we both already know.
Yes.
And that no one else knows.
Yes. So we live in the silo of like, isn't this what like Monday looks like for everyone?
Yeah.
You and I in a room are like that. Like even in a room of our kind of people, we still gravitate towards even smaller group of people. At lunch, I can't go sit and talk to, you and I've discussed this. Like, we just can't. So when someone has us in their ears, and I'm thrilled that they're listening and giving us the opportunity to be heard, question what you believe. Start asking different questions. If you don't know the words, start noticing your feelings. Where are you depleted? Where are you fueled from? What scares you? What makes you happy? Where are you not willing to go? So I think for everyone starts, the way I look at it is everyone starts in a hallway filled with doors that are all closed. The places they're scared to go, the stories they won't tell, the questions they don't know how to ask, the words they don't know how to use, the feelings they don't know how to feel. start to open some of the doors and let some light in, and ask yourself, if what you want and who you are is too big, what makes you happy? What do you want less of? Who do you not want to be? Just start to ask those questions and pop things like this in your ears more often so that you can find out what these conversations look like, and they get a lot less scarier. They become a lot of fun. And I'd say both for you and I in very different ways. I think I don't want to speak for you, so let me know if you agree. I know that getting unstuck can be a lot easier than getting stuck was. So while you do it in peace and quiet and in nature and in truth and in connection, I'll do in swearing and playfulness, and a different way of connecting is just there's always another way in. We don't have to crawl through the same foxhole that got us stuck. There are ways of releasing and ways of understanding and ways of allowing and forgiving what makes us feel uncomfortable so that we can find out who we are. I'd say investigate those.
Ask better questions and you get better
Ask better
answers.
questions, to go hang out in the with the mushrooms and Ben in the woods.
Amen. All types of mushrooms.
All types of mushrooms.
Yeah. Something came up there. I don't remember what it was, but that's great. Thank you, Shari.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
Thanks
your
for
time.
being in my world. I was thrilled the day you popped in. Oh, there's one of my people.
Yeah, it was funny, wasn't it?
Within 30 seconds, I'm like, there needs to be a hug. It's just, and that was it.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. I think listening to conversations like this, it's the realization that you're not weird.
Yes. Or you are
or
weird.
you are weird. Yeah.
Everyone's weird. I don't trust normal people.
Yeah, everyone's weird. Everyone's weird. And you're not unusual for wanting to do something.
Even if you don't know what it
is.
is, you don't have to know what it is. You just have to know you want more or different, and then you get to.
So how do people find out more about Shari?
They can come hang out on Instagram, Shari Teigman, and come say hi. I like to talk. I think we all learn from everyone, so I don't understand that whole, I don't check my own messages. Why would someone else be answering my messages? It's me. Say hi. Tell me something you want to ask that you haven't said out loud, or something that struck you from our conversation today. Introduce yourself. Come play, watch the chaos, enjoy the ride, share your genius with me.
Love it. Thank you, Shari. And what's your podcast called?
Well, I have two. One you'd really like. So my first one is called Shamble Show, which is Shari Rambles, and Dan Meredith named it.
Nice.
However many years ago. And my other podcast is called Mavericks in Motion, where I interviewed some incredible people who do incredible things, like adaptive world champion surfer who is paraplegic, and who else have I interviewed? Fastest runner who has one leg, Blade Leaper. You would love him. He's incredible. Happiest human being you've ever met in your life. Former FBI guys who, there's like a crowd of them who have an organization who rescue, investigate and rescue kids who are being sex trafficked all over the world, but with their own network. School principal in a rough area in New Jersey who has been on Oprah and Ellen, who installed washing machines in the school so the kids could wash their clothes and created a safest environment you could ever imagine. I volunteer there all the time when I'm home. Just the most incredible people, and understand how their brains work, what their maverick is, what's different about them. The reason I wanted to do that was because people put people like that on a pedestal and say, oh, I could never do things like that. So I wanted to bring them on the show to find out what they're scared of. How do they think? How do they get like that? Why are they different? And most of them have no idea that they're different, by the way. So it's a really interesting, there were 2 or 3 seasons of that. I am going to fire up the Shambles Show again. And my goal is, I will announce it on here. My mom passed away last January, which has been very hard for me. And she was a child of Holocaust survivors. And while some of my family's story has been told, I never got all of it down on tape. And so I'm working on a new series of the Maverick in Motion podcast with a season that's just of survivors of the Holocaust to tell their stories in honor of my mom and my grandmother. And just the most, I mean, I know some of those, just I grew up around these miracle stories, but I want to share them with the world. So I'm going to bring the OG Mavericks to the table.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear that.
Yes, it'll be amazing.
Sounds like I'd like both of those podcasts.
Yes, you would. You would.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Shari. Appreciate you.
Thanks for
Lots of love.
having me.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Ben Price Experience. These conversations are not just entertainment. They are also an invitation to confront the truth about what you are experiencing in life right this moment. An opportunity to upgrade your standards, to lead from a more powerful, grounded place. If some of these messages hit home, then maybe it is time to go deeper into who you are and who you are being. For men, I run a camp called the CEO Camp Out, or Campochi. You might have heard of me refer it to. You can find it at www.ceocampout.com. This is time off grid with other men who are refusing mediocrity. We ditch our phones. We be honest about what's going on in our lives. We connect with one another. We have delicious food, fire, hiking, playing around in the woods. It's really, really powerful, relaxing experience. You'll get challenged in a positive way, but you'll walk away from it the most clear you've probably ever been in a long time, and the most relaxed you've ever been in a long time. So check out the website, ceocampout.com. And if you want to inquire as to how to work with me, just drop me a message at Coach Ben Price, and I'd love to just connect with you if you've been impacted by anything in the podcast, not necessarily to work with each other, but just to connect, just to help in any way and serve in any way that I can. All right, lots of love and thanks for listening. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast. It really helps us elevate. If you would leave a comment as well, that would be amazing, and share it with somebody who you think would be impacted by the message in this episode. All right, lots of love. See you soon.